Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Spankers back here with another AoE Mage guide from 22 to 25. You could probably start this farm at 21, but I'd recommend having a little bit more HP. The gear I'm in, I'm wearing a couple gear from the raid. I got this for free because my raid had no warlocks, so don't roast me. I got the Belt of Argyle, Spellbinder pants, Spider Silk boots, ring, Emberstone, and a couple other things from SFK. But in this pool, the location is down here in the wetlands, and I'm not actually using AoE talents, so I don't have the additional armor for my ice or my frost armor, but that's perfectly okay. I mean, they do end up doing a little bit more damage, but I'm not worried about it. So what I like to do in this pool is I'm going to be using the same one. Now there is a strat here where you can use Blizzard, but I'm just going to go from regeneration into living bomb into living flame, and I'm going to stack all of my mobs on top of living flame. That way they all heal me while they're in my Frost Nova, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start out with this pool first because that other pool has a caster in it and he's kind of annoying. So what we'll do here is we'll just go ahead and grab a couple different mobs. So we'll grab these ones. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack them up right here in Frost Nova, right? Now once I do this, I'm going to use my living flame and then regeneration while this mob's right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and go into more Arcane Explosions while I kite these guys around in the dead zone. Now, what dead zone is the mobs can't hit you from super far, but you can still hit them even if you're jumping with Arcane Explosion, and you wouldn't have to worry about leeway if you're far enough away, right? So in this dead zone, these mobs will still smack you if you don't have the correct talents. But as you can see, I just did it with no talents. You might have like a 1% chance of dying if you really mess up. But what I'd recommend is just throwing your living flame on top of the mob with the most HP, right? You're still going to get insane XP here. You're still going to get hyper spawns. You're still going to get really great loot. As you can see, I've got some silk cloth here, some 8 silver vendors, some wool cloth here. That was from 4 or 5 pools already. And then you're going to be able to get BOE blues, BOE greens, and basically the loot is endless here as long as you just get the pools down. Again, so what I like to start out with is I like to start out with regeneration, which this is after nerf, everybody. So as you can see, I'm not really healing as much from regeneration, but after nerf, I mean, it's whatever. Like, the rune essentially breaks how mages play, and I'm not typically worried about how much healing I get here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to living flame and then frost nova again, and then go into some arcanes. And just make sure that they're all stacked up on top of that mob that has living flame, right? Now, in these pools, I'd recommend to have anywhere from 3 to 4, maybe 5 living bombs, just like the last ones. Because you want these mobs to all explode at the same exact time. It really helps you because you don't take a ton of damage and these mobs actually run away. So if you can get a couple of those living bombs off like that, you'll be perfectly fine. Now there was the first camp and the second camp. This is the third camp right here. My buddy right here is wild. We're just gonna do this. All right. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing, get into the next pool. You can actually pull a couple more mobs here. You can pull this little fin dweller. You can pull all these mobs in the backside. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go here, living bomb, and then I'll actually cast living flame now, and then use another regeneration just to heal to full, and then I'll go straight in. The more mobs that you have attacking you with living flame, the higher chance of survival you'll have, right? So in this case, where I have, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mobs here attacking me, I'm getting way more heals because living flame hits everybody, right? So that's kind of the biggest point of that, is that you'd really want all of the mobs to be stacked on living flame, regeneration up, and you'd also want to be using Arcane Explosion about 2 seconds after your Frost Nova. The XP per hour here is going to be anywhere from 32 to 36,000, and you're going to have a great time getting a lot of different loot and a lot of different gold. So you shouldn't have to worry about training anymore. You can use this as a gold farm, but I'm going to show you guys another pool after this one. and it is going to be over in Duskwood, so we'll head over there in a second. We'll use an evocation here. And then what I like to do here is I'll actually take these mobs and Frost Nova so they'll stay in the same position. And then I'll grab these other ones. And then Living Flame here. And use another regeneration. And then we'll just kill these mobs down. That way they don't de-aggro, right? So we'll kill these mobs down, we'll loot them up, and then we'll head over to Duskwood, guys. So this is the second location that you'll be farming at. It'll be over here on the west side in Ravenhill Cemetery. It's pretty easy. Essentially what you're going to do is you're just going to group up these fiends and these horrors to AoE them down the same way that you would the Riverpaw Gnolls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exact same pull. I'm going to go ahead and use regeneration. Now these guys hit a little bit harder, so you need to watch out. They crit for like 100. What I do is I go ahead and I start with casting on all these. I put my regeneration up first, living bomb on every single mob if you can. And then what I do is when I get them grouped up, I'll Frost Nova and then Living Flame one of the mobs and stack everybody on top of each other. And then I'll just try to kind of dead zone and kite out without turning my back too much. And as you can see, we still have one right here where a player pulled it off of us and he didn't get killed by everything, but that's perfectly fine. I'm going to use a health pot here. And that's basically how you do the pull. You just want to stack all these mobs on top of Living Flame again. This one's a bit better for as a gold farm if you want to use this method. You're going to be doing this until you hit 25. If you hit it, this should be a lot of EXP an hour. I want to say like 40 something thousand XP an hour, 42,000 to 46,000, depending on how many people are here farming the quests. Because the mobs are part of a kill quest, and they're also part of another quest where you got to go around and pick up some sort of moss. I think it's rot blossoms, but as long as you're here and there's nobody else here, or if you're here and even if there is another mage here like this guy, you'll be perfectly okay. I just suggest getting down to at least 4 living bombs in these mobs because they hit really, really, really hard. So the chance that you'll survive, you may die here, but it's still a really good farm. I would just suggest doing it all the way up because it's huge amounts of EXP. So we'll do one more pull here and I'll kind of show you. You can get almost every single person in this grave here, or this cemetery here. We'll just drag this way. I'll even pick up these guys right here. I'm going to Frost Nova a little bit early and then use Living Flame right here on this guy and drag him through. And I may die here, as you can see. That's what happened when a pool gets messed up, but it's perfectly okay. It's still doable. You just have to drag everything on top of Living Flame. I think I prematurely Nova'd there, but you guys get to see a mistake. And now, as you can see, there's a couple more people playing here and killing the mobs. But when you get up to 25, I'll show you a different kind of strat that you can do up in the top of that graveyard up there. I don't recommend going up there until you are 24 or 25 because the mobs are a lot harder to pull and a lot harder to manage, especially with the nerfs. Like I said, this is pre-nerf, or this is post-nerf, so the nerf really took the healing down on Arcane Explosion. I don't know why they did that because Blizzard, you can already do the same amount of mobs with Blizzard. So if you want to use Blizzard, you can do the same thing. We'll actually Nova right here and wait until this next one gets in front of us. Then we'll Living Flame here. Stand all the mobs on top of each other. And just go ahead and destroy them down. But yeah, I would recommend just standing still almost and just putting the mobs on top of each other. That way they all die. It's a pretty clean pull if you do that. That way you don't got a bunch of mob batching and everything. Your spell will always hit at the same time. You'll always know how much. But I would recommend bringing a couple of extra pots here just in case. The pots are going to be huge because if you get low, you can just use them. Even mana pots. If you don't have any, I mean, you're going to be fine still, but just for those oh shit moments, I would recommend bringing some. But thanks, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, even though there's a blooper in there. Much love.